Reporting that yesterday the ANC top six leadership spent time in a meeting at Luthuli House. This meeting came after the cabinet reshuffle that took place on Thursday last week. The meeting was expected to deal with the current situation with Secretary General Gwede Mantashe, Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa and the Treasurer General Dr. Zweli Mkhize having told the public that there was no consultation and therefore no consensus on the reshuffling. The meeting is expected to continue today, but let us just take this conversation further, and we're talking about these issues with a political analyst, Alfred Sigudla. And Dr. Sigudla, good morning to you and welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming through. Now, can we say that the ANC is going through the difficult times? I mean, we've had the spokesperson on the previous report, Zizikoto, saying that these are indeed the difficult times, with the officials going public to talk about how dissatisfied they are with the cabinet reshuffle.
Yeah, well, we understand that the ANC currently is going through a very difficult time. The structures are not intact. There's no coherence in terms of the policy that the ANC must take moving forward. You will recall that there are fundamental issues that the country ought to deal with. Amongst others will be to deal with the question of land, the question of the white monopoly capital vis-a-vis the Guptas of late that have come to the fore. So these are issues that are very, very interesting, and apparently, as we see it now, that there is no coherent among the ANC, and this is one of the toughest battles they faced moving forward. But equally, we also know that there's this up-and-coming conference, both policy conference and national conference in December. Therefore, there has been factional battles in terms of who succeeds President Zuma, what policy option the ANC must take to address some of these fundamental issues that we are facing. Therefore, we are sitting in a very, very serious predicament, and it will be very difficult for the ANC to actually restore its dignity and be able to take the country forward. So this is a watershed moment for it to define itself. And obviously, we have seen yesterday, what we would have expected is that the top six would have convened the structures to convey their dissatisfaction in terms of the reshuffle itself, and then asked President Zuma to account to say why has reshuffle a cabinet. What is it? What's the menu of this radical economic transformation that he has been speaking about? Whether the reshuffle of the cabinet, is it in line to achieve that particular political objective?
All right, and some analysts are saying that the president has actually closed ranks on his fellow comrades. That is why some of them are actually taking this fight outside the ranks of the ANC. Do you think this is the only option that they have, to talk public about the events of the ANC?
Obviously, you will recall that if this is a conference where this is a year where the ANC goes into conference, and obviously there are a number of factional battles that are taking place, are taking shape, and therefore that people will use various avenues to advance their own political ambition. If they feel that the current mechanism and structures that exist undermines their own interest to pursue their agenda in terms of succession. So it's expected that in the year leading to conference, you will have some of these issues taking place. And in fact, having the context of the reshuffle itself, others feel that the reshuffle is done in the context of advancing the agenda of certain factions in the leadership race within the ANC. So automatically you'll find people saying we'll go out of the structures and put pressure to the structures that be to say that we need a much more better leadership, and here we are. We think that we are the better people to take the ANC forward, and it's expected that it will happen from time to time.
All right. Now, what's your take on the reports that we saw coming out yesterday that there is a letter from one of the ANC's integral committee members by the name of ANC stalwart Andrew Mlangeni, that he has written to President Jacob Zuma, obviously requesting to meet with him on the 8th of this month at Lily's Farm?
Yeah, well, I think the elders will want to come in, because the issue is how do you then deal with the challenges that we have. I know that we all know that the presidency of President Jacob Zuma has been a very difficult one. There are a number of scandals that come in. There are a number of other issues in terms of policy that lacks clarity in terms of how to move the country. And what is expected, especially from the president, is to ensure that to ensure party unity, consolidate the movement, making sure that he doesn't bring the party into disrepute. And obviously, these are some of the issues that have been happening. But the president, at the same time, is also faced with a number of challenges. One of them is to say, how do you then deal with the issue of inequality? How do you deal with the issue of land ownership? How do you deal with the skewed ownership of economy that we have in the country? So those are some of the issues that are very fundamental, and therefore, in a clear, coherent, if there's no unit within the ANC in terms of the policy position it's supposed to take in moving the country forward, you will see this type of issues taking place. And obviously, the likes of Comrade Mlangen will want to come in and say, how do you then deal with this question? It's expected that the elders will rise to the question and say, and try to talk to the top six and leadership to say, how do you make sure that you don't do anything to undermine the interests of the country, and also making sure that there's calmness around moving South Africa forward. We've seen the downgrade, which has got an impact into the economy. How then do you move forward with those type of things? So it is expected that there will be a lot of representation that is made both to President Zuma, to the top six, and also the NEC as a whole of the ANC.
All right, and yesterday 5 political parties held a press conference. That's the EFF, DA, COPE and the UDM. Should we take this as one of those situations that we have seen before, or something new will come out of this?
Well, I think the terrain is different now. Then the center doesn't hold anymore. We do not know when we go into the vote of no confidence against President Zuma in Parliament, what will the other members be? And we've heard other allegations from the president of EFF, Comrade Julius Malema, saying that they have mobilized some other people from the ruling party to vote together with them in the vote of no confidence. It is not going to be easy in the context that there's already a downgrade. The economy has felt a hinge. The markets are responding negatively to the cabinet reshuffle on the basis that there's no, sort of a consistent policy moving forward. Therefore, we expect that this will not be the same like before. It's going to be very, very tough for the ANC to maintain its caucus. We know that even the chief of the ANC has been on record saying that he's not happy with the leadership of President Zuma and calling him to be recalled. So therefore, that they are singing the same tune with others. We've seen others in the memorial service of the stalwart Katrada calling for the president to resign. So this is a difficult moment for the president and the ANC. So this one is not going to be that much easy. The opposition will go all out to make sure that it undermines, because you know the opposition will want to take any opposition or any opportunity to undermine the sitting government in order for them to say, look, we are here, we can also take this role. We have already in leadership in some of the metros, we can take the country forward. So it's not going to be like before. So I think the opposition will then take full advantage of the situation at hand.
All right. Well, we've also had some opposition parties saying that they're not fighting the ANC, but they're fighting the president of the ANC. We'll leave it at that, Alfred. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, that's a political analyst, Alfred Sigudla, talking to us about the recent political events taking place here in South Africa. Let's quickly take a break on Morning Live. When we come back, we'll give you some 7 o'clock news bulletin. Stay tuned.